In the second wave of free agency, the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed 3 new players, 1 new coach, but have also lost 1 player to a new team. So, before I get more to this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for updates like this. Also, like the video. Let's get right back into it. The 3 new players that we have signed is wide receiver Quez Watkins, quarterback Kyle Allen, and defensive end Dean Lowry. And these are a little bit of introductions to them joining this team. So let's start off with wide receiver Quez Watkins. He comes over on a 1-year contract, and he was formerly with the Philadelphia Eagles. So Watkins spent the last 4 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles after they selected him in the 6th round of the 2020 NFL Draft. Over there, he started 25 games for them, including 12 in 2021, and had 98 receptions for 1,249 yards and 6 touchdowns in his career. In 2023, however, he started just 5 games, and he appeared in 9, as he had a hamstring injury that kind of set him back and also sent him to IR in mid-October after a Week 5 game. He was reactivated off of IR around November 25th, and during that injury, it kind of shortened his season. He had 15 receptions for 142 yards and 1 touchdown. So he's coming off a season which was really a down year, but an injury-filled year also for him. And according to PFF, Watkins' best season came in 2021 when he got his most playing time. He was given a 70.5 overall grade, including 73.6 receiving grade, and he was only charged with 1 drop on 61 targets. In the 2 career games against the Pittsburgh Steelers, he was targeted twice but had 0 receptions. So Watkins is coming over as a guy who could also return kicks and return punts. He adds some potential value in the return specialist category, as he has returned 14 kickoffs in his career for 200 yards with a 14.3 average. We all know that Calvin Austin does punts, but I guess Quez Watkins can do kick returns if the Steelers need be, and if he makes the final roster. So, the Steelers' assistant general manager, Andy Weidl, was previously with the Eagles, so yet again he brings in a former player to join the Pittsburgh Steelers, in which he was a part of selecting in the draft. What does Quez Watkins add to this team? He adds speed, and he adds versatility. He is mainly a slot receiver, playing 675 snaps in the slot over his last 2 seasons, and only 292 on the outside. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see where the Steelers align him if he does make that final roster. What does he add to this team? Well, he's purely a speed player. He ran a 4.36 40-yard dash time, and he's just a speed player, someone who could get past the defense. He's a quick receiver, make plays after the catch, and that's what he would be bringing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not necessarily a deep ball threat in terms of playmaking ability and catching the ball, high pointing the ball, but someone who's going to be able to run past you and do it at a high level. So Quez Watkins, he joins the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he joins this wide receiver group. Now, moving over to the next additions that we had yesterday, actually, the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed defensive end Dean Lowry. Lowry is 30 years old before the season starts, and he was recently released by the Minnesota Vikings, but he was a pre-draft visitor to the Pittsburgh Steelers when he was coming out of college in 2016. He spent 2023 season with the Vikings after 7 years with the Green Bay Packers. He's listed at 6'6", 296 pounds, and he was drafted in the 4th round of the 2016 draft. Lowry has appeared in 120 games in his career, 84 of them being starts, and in his career he has recorded 266 tackles, 23 tackles for loss, 15.5 sacks, 17 pass defense, 1 interception, 5 fumble recoveries, and 34 quarterback hits. Lowry's 1 career interception came against the Chicago Bears, who had quarterback Mitchell Trubisky. Of course it came off of Mitchell Trubisky. Why wouldn't it? So, last season in Minnesota, Lowry played in just 9 games and recorded 14 tackles. Once again, he dealt with injuries as well, just like Quez Watkins. He suffered a torn pectoral muscle against the Denver Broncos and was placed on season-ending injured reserve on November 20th. His best season in the NFL just in total was in 2021, so it's not far-fetched. It's not far away. 2021, he recorded 5 sacks. He played in all 17 games and started all 17 games. So he comes in to this group as not just a big-time playmaker. He's not going to be a big difference maker in terms of being a starter on this defensive line. No, he comes in, he's added depth to the team and added experience to this defensive line room that already has experience. So he comes in and he's just going to be a solid addition to this defensive line rotation and just be in rotation when people get injured or if people get tired, just being another body on the field that has experience and has done it at a high level. So this is a really nice pickup for the Steelers, just getting someone in rotation to sub out with Cameron Heyward, Larry Ogunjobi whenever need be. So Dean Lowry, welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this was his introduction. Now, moving over to another addition the Pittsburgh Steelers have had. Actually, they signed a quarterback now. They've signed a quarterback, Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen is 28 years old, and he becomes the third quarterback on this roster behind Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. In 2023, he spent the season backing up quarterback Josh Allen. So I guess the Pittsburgh Steelers like signing players that backed up Josh Allen, because that's who they signed with Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky was backing up Josh Allen before he signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers seasons ago to become the starter. So I guess they just like picking up people who backed up Josh Allen. He comes in, and Allen has spent prior seasons with the Carolina Panthers, Washington, and the Houston Texans. So Allen, he went undrafted coming out of Houston in the 2018 NFL Draft, and he played 2 seasons there before transferring to Texas A&M. In his career, he has completed 441 of 704 passes for 4,734 yards and 26 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. He's appeared in 30 games with 19 starts, recording 12 starts in 2019 in Carolina after backing up Cam Newton that season. Allen is 7-12 overall as a starter in his career. He has last completed a pass in Week 12 of the 2022 season as a member of the Houston Texans before being benched for quarterback David Mills. So as a number 3 quarterback, Allen gives the Steelers good depth at the quarterback spot. You're not going to expect much from him. Don't expect him to come in and do anything but just be that third quarterback, emergency quarterback, another veteran in the locker room to maybe talk to Russell Wilson on the sideline as just being one of those quarterbacks that just talk and kind of be in his ear and kind of help him out if he needs help. Also, just be a guy to mentor Justin Fields if Russell Wilson is too busy doing whatever he has to do to become the starter and make the Steelers play at a high level. So just having another third quarterback on the roster. We all know the Pittsburgh Steelers always carry 3 quarterbacks. I can't remember the last time they didn't carry 3 quarterbacks, so it looks like maybe this is the third quarterback and this is like the final group at the quarterback spot. Sometimes we even get 4 and then we break it down and have one on the practice squad. So expect maybe one more signing at the quarterback spot or maybe a rookie in the 7th round or something like that. So this is the third quarterback. Usually there's 4. So this is Kyle Allen's chance on the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's not going to get much playing time, if at all, unless injuries happen where a lot of people get injured. Those 2 get injured and then he just has to come in. But Kyle Allen, he comes into the Pittsburgh Steelers as just another veteran on the team. Now, the Steelers, they've also signed a coach. I'm not going to get too much into this addition, but all I'll say is hopefully he comes in and does a good job with the secondary, being the assistant to the coach the Steelers already have to be the main guy. So he comes in and he gets a job with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, moving over to the player the Steelers lost. Like I said, they've lost a player in free agency. They actually lost him quite a long time ago, and like a week ago, I believe, but I didn't want to make a separate video on it. They've lost cornerback James Pierre, who has been on this team for a while. He was mainly a special teams player as someone who was on the punt return game and kickoff return, but he also had his moments on the defense side as well as cornerback. I know you guys all remember that Browns game, that offseason after getting blown out in the wild card game against the Browns. The whole offseason was James Pierre's the next guy up at the cornerback spot, Pierre Island. You guys probably remember that, but now he's off the team. It just never panned out. He was never able to end up succeeding after that in terms of being a number one cornerback or number two cornerback. He was always just a depth piece, and he just never panned out the way that some of us expected him to pan out. So the Steelers lose him in free agency to the Washington Commanders. So James Pierre, he's now off the team, but the Pittsburgh Steelers have made a few additions to the roster, adding quarterback Kyle Allen, defensive end Dean Lowry, and also adding wide receiver Watkins, along with a defensive secondary assistant as well. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, they continue making moves, and this is the official introduction to all these players, coaches, and the farewell to the cornerback as well, James Pierre. So with that being said, that's the end of this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below about all these additions, what they could bring to this team. Do you think they're going to be a key additions, or do you think they're just depth pieces, people who probably won't play as much? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And is there any more people out there in free agency that you want the Pittsburgh Steelers to look at? Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, so you can get notified with everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, just like this update, and everything moving forward in free agency, and the draft and player introductions. So, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.